Hi, I'm Renee Chenault, Executive Director of Philadelphia Lawyers for Social Equity, or PULSE. For more than 2 decades, I anchored and reported the news in Philadelphia, but I started my career as a lawyer. I graduated from the University of Pennsylvania Law School, and now I'm with PULSE, where we help people with criminal record clearing through expungements and pardons. PULSE believes people change, criminal records should too. We were founded a decade ago by 3 civil rights lawyers. They had the vision of seeing how criminal records were impacting Black and brown communities. They wanted to do something about it. In the coming months, PULSE will be holding clinics in your neighborhood with information and help on applying for an expungement or pardon.
It's important to get a pardon just to remove that black cloud, to remove that stigma. If I do want to apply for another job, if I do want to further my career, these things are going to always come up, and it doesn't get any easier.
To learn more or to start the intake process yourself, go to our website, plsephill.org. You'll also find a list of upcoming clinics and information on our marijuana amnesty program. Or call us 267-519-5323. Estimates are 400,000 people in Philadelphia have a record and could benefit from record clearing, giving them a fresh start for a better job, educational opportunities, and more.
For me, I was tired of getting told no. I was tired of getting told you can't. I was tired of getting told that, you can't be a part of our organization. So the right time for me was when they said no. And I said yes, yes, yes.
Because people change, and criminal records should too. Hello. Thank you for allowing me to share that video. I wanted to show it for a couple of reasons. One, to give you just a real quick idea of what I do at Philadelphia Lawyers for Social Equity, but also to let you know a little bit about who I am. Now, if you're from Philadelphia or you're of a certain age, you may recall that I was the anchor at WCAU NBC 10 for close to 25 years. But whether as a lawyer or as a journalist, storytelling has always been a constant theme in my life. I mean, think about it. What is a lawyer if not a storyteller? Well, some would call lawyers other things, but we're not going to go down that road. Seriously, when you think about it, whether it's a lawyer telling a story to the jury or to a judge or to the client, or if they're working in a law firm as an associate telling the narrative or the story to the partner, lawyers weave narratives. And because of that, there is a narrative today that I really want to share with you that directly connects what Angela Marks is doing with Reading Aloud and what Amir Baraka is doing in that powerful presentation you just saw. And it connects to the work that I'm doing right now. And I want to talk about those narratives, how they connect, and how we all have a role to play. Well, if you're like me, you were so very moved by Amir's story and the points that he made and the questions that they raised. And I know I was busy scribbling down notes as he was talking, but he said he knew that the only way he was going to extricate myself from this mental prison is if I learned to read. Well, the question that comes up, why does it take being in prison to learn how to read? Why does it take being in prison to get a diagnosis for dyslexia? He also said that out of 32 men in his area, in his block, only one was a high school graduate. The majority had no more than a 3rd or 4th grade education. No one there, he said, could read. They were paying people to write letters home to family. Well, while certainly it's never too late to change the trajectory of one's life, look at Amir Baraka as a perfect example of that, and there are countless others like him. Why do we have to wait till someone is an adult? I listened a few weeks back to Dr. Ruth Abeya, a pediatrician at CHOP. She heads up their violence unit. She also oversees the city's community expansion grants targeting violence in our city. And she talked about a program that the city is creating right now for what they call opportunity youth. These are kids age 18 to 24 who aren't in school, they're not in education, and they're at risk of falling into that school to prison pipeline. Well, the question she asked is, why do we have to wait till the kids get to that age to create projects and programs for them, when we know that if you reach kids at the earliest stages, pre-K, certainly by the time they're in third grade, you make sure they have the necessary reading and comprehension skills, you wouldn't have to create programs for this opportunity youth group. Surveys conducted by the Department of Justice have found that 85% of incarcerated youth cannot read. This unsettling link between illiteracy, something that's determined, they say, as early as 5 years old, and one's likelihood of arrest is disturbing. And again, we know how to fix it. You heard Angela say in her interview, and she and I, we laughed about this because I said the same thing. This is not rocket science. If you give kids the tools they need, you put the resources in the schools, in the communities, we can make a difference. And that old adage, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance, is playing out every day. You know, I'm reading a book right now called Jump. It's by Larry Miller, who's from Philadelphia. He's a Nike executive who for decades lived with a secret. When he was a teen, he was in a gang and he ended up killing another teen and went to prison. In the book, he talks about how he discovered his love of reading in prison. Again, raising the question, why does it take going to prison? There are things we can do now. So, how do we change all of this? I feel very blessed to have a voice, having come into people's homes for 25 years, building trust. And even though I'm not on TV anymore, and maybe because I'm not on TV anymore, and have the freedom to talk about the injustices and the inequities that exist, I'm using my voice wherever I can to point out these issues. That's why I'm at Philadelphia Lawyers for Social Equity. Before that, I made a documentary on Alzheimer's and its disparate impact in communities of color. Again, because these issues need to be addressed. And I guess that's what I love about reading aloud. It allows us as individuals, whether by giving your money, giving your time, making a difference, using your voice, telling this narrative, sharing this narrative. I so appreciate you giving me the time to talk about the importance of reading aloud, the importance of sharing narratives, and I guess just feeling like, you know, we have been through a lot these past 2 years. And I think there's a collective feeling that things cannot go back to normal. We have to make a difference. Getting involved with reading aloud is a perfect example of how you can do that. I would encourage you to go to the website. It's a wonderful website. In fact, when I was on the website, I had this idea. What if there was a section where everyone sort of just made a video like I'm doing now on my cell phone, reading from one of their favorite books, just a paragraph. It would be a great way to connect. It would also be a great way to show the power of books. I mentioned the book Jump by Larry Miller, but I also read a lot of fun books, and I'd be happy to participate in this project if reading aloud was so inclined. I read this, what was it, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It was a lot of fun. I'm standing in front of my bookshelf now, South Street, which was written by an author that people have not heard about. He's from Philadelphia, a Black journalist in the 40s and the 50s, William Gardner Smith. Books open up a world of opportunities, and I appreciate you allowing me a chance to talk about that today.